What happens if a serious health issue means you can no longer do your job as a central government employee? It's a really tough question, right? But thankfully, a recent government memorandum provides a clear path forward. So today, we're going to break down the process for securing your financial safety net step by step.
All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll cover it in 5 key parts. First, we'll look at the new safety net itself. Then, we'll walk through exactly how to start the process. After that, we'll dive into the official medical exam, explore the possible outcomes, and finally, see how your financials are secured. It's a simple roadmap, so let's get started.
You know, this is a question nobody ever wants to have to ask, but having a plan is so important. If a health condition really does prevent you from doing your job for good, there is an official path forward. And that's exactly what this explainer is all about, understanding that path. Okay, let's start with the basics. This whole process comes from an official government memorandum. What that means is that there's a structured, formal path for employees who have to retire for medical reasons. The big takeaway here is that this isn't guesswork. It's a defined, official procedure.
First things first, let's get the official term right. It's called retirement on invalidation. And there are 2 phrases here that are absolutely key: bodily or mental infirmity and permanently incapacitates. So we're not talking about a temporary illness, but a condition that really makes it impossible for you to keep doing your job.
So who exactly do these rules apply to? Well, it's specifically for central government civil employees who are part of the Unified Pension Scheme under the National Pension System, or NPS. And here's a really important note. The Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016 can also come into play, and that might affect how these rules are applied in certain cases. Okay, so you know this safety net is there, but how do you actually get the ball rolling? Let's jump into Section 2. You'll see the first steps are actually pretty clear and straightforward.
Now, this is a really thoughtful and crucial detail. The employee themselves doesn't have to be the one to apply. The rules recognize that if you're dealing with a serious health problem, you might not be in a position to handle paperwork. That's why your spouse or another family member can submit the application for you. It's a very practical and compassionate part of the process.
And this number is so important. Once that application is submitted, a clock starts ticking. The head of department has just 15 days to officially request a medical examination. This is a great rule because it ensures the whole process doesn't get delayed or stuck in limbo.
So let's just quickly run through that one more time. Step 1, you or your family apply. Step 2, your department head has to request the medical exam inside that 15-day window. And Step 3, you get a copy of that request, which means you're kept in the loop the whole time. It's simple and it's transparent. All right, now we get to the real heart of the process, the medical exam. And this isn't just any checkup. It's a formal assessment to figure out your fitness for service, and it has to follow some very specific rules.
This quote from the memorandum really sums it up perfectly. The whole point of the exam is to get a professional medical opinion on one big question. Can this employee continue to serve, either in their current job or maybe in a different one? You know, there are several really important safeguards built right into this process. For one, the exam has to be requested by the department. And the doctors, they don't just look at your current job, they also have to assess if you could handle a less demanding role. And there's also a specific and very important provision that a female doctor must be present when a woman candidate is being examined. Okay, so the exam is over. What happens next? This brings us to the outcomes. Basically, things can go one of 2 ways based on what that medical report says. This slide lays out the 2 main possibilities perfectly. On one hand, if the medical authority says you're unfit for any further service, then the path leads directly to getting those invalidation retirement benefits. On the other hand, if they find you're fit for a less laborious job, your department is supposed to offer you a position like that, as long as one's available and you're willing to take it. But that brings up a huge question, doesn't it? What if the doctors say you can do lighter work, but your department just doesn't have a job like that open? Are you just stuck? The answer is a clear no. And this is like a critical safety net within the safety net. The rules are very direct. If you're found fit for a lower post, but the department can't actually give you one, you can still get the full benefits for retirement on invalidation. You won't be left high and dry just because a suitable job doesn't exist. And that brings us to our final, and for a lot of people, the most important section, your money. Let's break down exactly what happens with your pension and gratuity if you're approved. So what happens to your pension account under the NPS? It's a pretty logical process. First, your individual account that's closed.
Next, the money the government put in, plus any money that investment made, goes back to the government. And then, the entire rest of the amount, that's all of your contributions and what they earned, is paid out to you in one lump sum. But wait, that's not the whole story. The rules actually provide for one more significant payment on top of your pension, and this is something a lot of people might not know about. It's called a death gratuity. Now, I know the name sounds a little confusing, but the rule itself is what matters. Under the Central Civil Services rules, an employee who is discharged on invalidation is eligible to receive this gratuity. It's a really vital extra piece that adds another layer of financial security. So when you put it all together, from the clear application to the medical exam and the structured payouts, the whole purpose becomes obvious. This is all about providing a predictable and supportive path to financial security during what is, without a doubt, a really difficult and uncertain time in someone's life. And this brings us to one final, really crucial thought. Since your family members can be the ones to start this whole process, the most important question is, do they even know these rules exist? Sharing this information could make all the difference for someone you love when they need it the most. Thanks for joining us.